Hello, this is Simon, also known as Gundam UK, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a Gundam kit on a budget. Okay, so just to make it clear, on this video I am not going to show you how to paint it. I'm just going to show you how to detail it with panel lines. And the first thing I'm going to do is just run through all the bits that you're going to need in order to get a nice result. The first thing is some lolly sticks. You'll need these for sanding, and you can get packs of 10 of these on eBay for as little as £1. Next is 800 grit sandpaper. I get the waterproof type, so that when I'm using it I'll make it nice and wet and it reduces the friction on the plastic. And you can pick up 10 sheets of this over on eBay for as little as £5. Next is one of these 4-stage nail buffers. Sounds a bit strange, but these are really handy for getting rid of nubs on your parts. And you can pick those up over on eBay for £1.50 each. Next is one of the most essential tools that you're going to need, and that's a side cutter. Now this is a normal sort of wire cutter, but it has a very flat edge along one side. This is absolutely essential for cutting parts off of runners. And you can pick a good Tamiya one up from eBay for as little as £5. Next is just an ordinary eraser. Doesn't really matter which one. You can get it £1 off eBay as well. Then there's a hobby knife. I recommend getting an X-Acto knife. Don't have to get one that's exactly the same as this. It was stupidly expensive for what it is. But you can pick up an X-Acto knife for as little as £3 with 2 blades, number 11 blades that is, over on eBay. The main point is that has to be as sharp as humanly possible. Next is a Micron pigment ink pen. I choose this one exactly because it's very good quality and it's relatively cheap. You'll need this for panel lining. You should get a 005 size pen, and you can pick these up on eBay too for as little as £1.20 on eBay. Next is Tester's Dull Coat. This is all-purpose flat clear lacquer spray. This is the stuff that you will need in order to seal in all of your detail and to give your model a nice consistent finish. You can pick that up on eBay again for as little as £5, and that's 85 grams worth. It probably lasts maybe 2 to 3 models at a stretch. Next is a very small set of diamond files. These are very cheap. You can get these for £3.50 on eBay. You'll need that for getting rid of nubs and any other offending flash marks on the parts. This over here is some double-sided tape. Again, eBay, £1.60. You'll need that to attach your sandpaper to your lolly sticks, but I'll get onto that. Next is some poly cement, and this is normal Humbrol style poly cement. You can get this for as little as £3 on eBay. You just have to make sure that it's for plastic only. And finally, you do of course have to have a kit, and in this case I'm going to demonstrate how to do this on the cheap with this Gundam Fenice Rinascita, which retails for 1800 yen, but I bought this in the UK from japancool.co.uk for about £20. So before you start building your model, you're going to want to prepare some sanding sticks to help you along. Sanding sticks are pretty essential because they provide a nice flat edge for you to sand against parts with. You will be using it loose now and again, especially on sort of rounded edges and that kind of thing. So what you want to do is cut your sandpaper into a nice strip, it's roughly the same length as your lolly sticks, and then you cut them into strips that are double the width of your lolly sticks, or craft sticks as they might be called. And you want to make a few of these, well, for however many sticks you think you're going to need. I tend to do, for an ordinary high grade kit, maybe 4 of these. Well, that didn't cut so well, let's do that one again. It is of course very essential that you use a nice sharp blade, but if you want to sort of save your blades, you can always just use an ordinary pair of scissors. So, demonstration's sake, we have our 3 strips here. Not the best cut, but that'll do. Then you get your double-sided tape and peel off just the right amount. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just the right length of your sanding stick. And then you're going to peel off the backing paper, like so. And then literally, that's what I'm saying, literally, stick it down on one side, and then get another strip of double-sided tape and stick it to the other side, like so. And there we have it, a sanding stick. You should just repeat the process for others, and you'll have a nice flat edge on either side to do your sanding on, as well as a kind of a thinner flat edge here for some really sort of, if you want to get in some really tight spots on the part. And once you've done a few of those, you are ready to start building your kit. Okay, next I'm going to start work on assembling my kit. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything out of their plastic runners. So, put this over here, and I'm just going to liberate them all from their packaging. Be sure to take out your stickers and leave them to one side. And here is our instruction manual. It's pretty straightforward. Now I'm not really going to go through the instructions on these because they're pretty straightforward. It's literally just look at the picture and follow what it asks you to do. There's not really much point in me going over that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just have a look at the letters of all of these runners, and I'm going to put them back in the box, keeping the poly caps out, which these are sort of rubbery things here, just so I can see what order they're in. So let's start what we're looking at. Before this. Okay, so now I've arranged all of my runners in the box, stood them upright, just so it's easy for me to access and know where all the runners are as I follow the instructions. Okay, so let's start building this. We go from, what we're going to do is we're going to find the parts that we need, which are on runner L and runner O. So let's find the L runner, which is this great big green one in at the back. And what you're going to do is, you shouldn't just go straight in and cut them off or ever sort of twist them out of the runner, because you could stress the plastic and it will decolorize any of the greens that are on this runner. So what we're going to do is locate L18 here, and the trick is to cut from the back to the front, cut away from the part like this, and here, and here. Just make sure that the flat edge is facing inwards. And what you should have is, let me give you a bit of focus, and you should end up the part like this, where there's lots of horrible nubs all over it, but that's exactly what you want. So once you've cut your part off, you just give it a tiny bit of a trim, just a tiny amount, still as far away from the part as possible, to leave just a tiny nub in its place. And you're doing this to make sure that you don't put any stress on the plastic and cause it to discolour. And once you've got that, it's just a matter of getting one of your sanding sticks and very gently rubbing over until there is no sign of that nub mark anymore. It's pretty good. And this one as well. Then once you've sanded your nub away, you're going to get your nail block, and you want to go to step 3 on the block and just rub over where the nub was, like so. Then you're going to get step 4, which is the real polishing part. You're going to give that a good rub as well, each of those parts. Now what that's doing is it's actually it's kind of buffing the surface and making it nice and shiny. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but it's essentially completely removed the nub and left no sign of it at all, leaving a nice shiny surface. And hopefully you can see that nice shiny surface and no sign of a nub mark. So now I'm going to carry on working my way through this instruction book. It's going to take you, if you've not done it before, probably 3 hours or so. I might be able to do it in, say, a couple of hours because I'm just used to building HG kits. But the main thing is, take your time, make sure you're sitting right, don't do your back in, and make sure you absolutely follow what the instructions say. Look very carefully as you're putting these together, because if you put something together in a wrong position, it's very difficult to prise them apart without breaking or discolouring the plastic. So as you can see, I have finished building the kit. I'm aware that this particular kit has a wave rider mode, but just for the sake of demonstration I'm going to forego building that. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to look to see if any seams need removing. Luckily on this kit there are virtually none, so I'm not going to need to do any seam line removal. But I will do on this weapon here. As you can see, there's a great big line going straight down the middle, and we want to get rid of that. I'm not going to go through like a real extensive how to get rid of seam lines tutorial, because there are plenty of those on YouTube, especially from the Ghost of Xeon. I'll put a link below if you want to see that. And literally all you're going to do to get rid of this kind of seam line is just stick in a bit of glue and sand it down just to make it nice and smooth. The other thing is that I've used stickers on this particular kit. I would say that in any instance try to avoid using stickers altogether, because they look pretty horrible. But in this case I've used 2 stickers here on the shoulders, simply because I would have to paint this detail in if I was to get the same effect. So just this once I've used stickers here and here, but I guess it's just down to judgment as to what you think looks good or doesn't look good. It's entirely up to you. You can see that here on the chest vents there were 4 stickers here that would just make the inner parts black, but I decided I don't need to use those because I can use my detailing pen to actually draw these in black. So I'm going to do that now. In order to make things easier, let's disassemble some of the parts. Makes our life a lot easier. And I'm literally going to, excuse if my head is in the way, just colour in where there should be black in here, using the pen, just being as careful as possible and changing the angle so I don't get any ink marks on the surrounding yellow part. There we go. I'm not sure how well you can see that on camera, but that's already quite a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest of those using my pen, and then I'm going to start adding some panel lines. So panel lining using a pen is actually pretty straightforward. It's just a matter of, you get the part you'd like to add a bit more detail to, and all you're going to do is literally run your pen along those panel lines. You are literally just colouring it in. Now it's always best to just be as careful as possible when you're doing this, because the more careful you are, the less you have to clean up later. So you can see there, I've just done a simple line on this wing part, and then you're going to use an eraser just to very gently go over the top and remove any excess. This may take a few attempts, but persevere, and after a while you'll have a nice fine line going along your panel lines. And you should do that across just any places where you think you could add a little bit more detail, especially on really obvious indented panel lines wherever you see it. So I'm going to carry on now, do this whole thing, and then we're going to give it a top coat. Okay, so as you can see, I've finished doing my detailing by colouring in some of the vents just to add a bit of detail, and now I'm going to apply a top coat. Now I don't want to apply that matte top coat to these nice glossy parts, so I'll leave them to one side. And I also don't want to put a matte coat on this chest gem here. I want to leave that nice and shiny, so I've just got some blue tack and literally just stuck it over the top there, just to mask off any of the top coat from going onto it. So let's get that sprayed. So here I've just set up my spray booth. You can of course do this outside, you don't need a spray booth. It just has to be in a well ventilated area, because this stuff stinks, but it'll be worth it. And basically I've separated out the model into its wings, into its body, the waist and legs, and just spread it out as much as I could, just to make sure that the flat coat can get into all the areas. And you're roughly spraying around 20 centimeters away, just very short bursts, very controlled, just to make sure you have a nice consistent finish across all of the parts. So now I just need to leave it a good 2, maybe 3 hours, just for it to completely dry, and then it's ready for reassembly. So here is the completed model, now top coated, and as you can see, it doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty good. Now, understand that if you want to get really good results, you have to invest a little bit more time and more money into the hobby. But if you are on a budget, then this is probably a good place to start. Just a few basic materials and with a few basic techniques, for under £60, you can have yourself a nice model that you can display on your shelf or wherever you like to display things. If you'd like to find out more about how you can take your skills a little further, then by all means join a few communities online, join a few groups. You can of course join the UK Gunpla Modelers group over on Facebook. There's lots of helpful people on there to give you some tips and some hints as to how you can further improve your skills and move on to the next level. But this is a good place to start. Do feel free to drop me an email, you can drop me a message through my Gundam UK Facebook page. I am more than happy to help and give out advice on anything modelling related. I'm by no means a pro, but I can at least share with you some of my knowledge. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all again next time. Bye bye.